It's qualifying time here in Italy as the cars go through their final checks before they head out on track. Will it be a Red Bull, a Ferrari or a Mercedes day? I think it's going to be close. I'm expecting a good showing from Ferrari at their home race this weekend. They've had a lot of success here over the years, and though they haven't won a race here since Fernando Alonso in 2010, you can never say never.
The fans here are amazing and always provide a lift to the Ferrari team, so I'm expecting them to be right in the mix come today's qualifying session.
Alright lads, so here we are for episode number 12 of the F1 2015 Career Mode Championship. This is Monza, one of the most marquee circuits on the entire F1 calendar. We'll be looking to impress the home crowd here in Italy. Valtteri Bottas, he could potentially be a Ferrari driver next season, so doing well at this circuit could go a long way towards getting him a drive at Scuderia Ferrari next season. But as I said, here we are in Monza, one of the most high-speed tracks on the calendar. Obviously, this track is all about straight line speed. If you're new to F1, this track is literally almost an oval. You've not many corners to negotiate on this track, that's for sure. So you got to make sure you got low downforce. You want to have a top-end speed that's better than everyone else in the entire field, and you should do fairly well at this circuit. But going through Parabolica for our first lap in qualifying, I've got to say this was our best lap. We only did one lap in the session. I actually felt like this first lap was so good that I didn't even need to go out for another run at the end of the session. And obviously, because we didn't go out again, it means we got pole position for the Italian Grand Prix by just under 0.03 of a second. It's time for the race.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action. And we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. It's Valtteri Bottas on pole for today's race. He might be on the front row of the grid, but you have to think that that car is set up for one-lap pace. So it's going to be interesting to see how the car performs in the race with a heavy fuel load.
He's definitely going to be difficult to beat today, but anything can happen, so we'll have to keep a close eye on how this unfolds over the course of the race.
A poor performance from both the car and the driver last time out saw Sebastian Vettel post his worst result of the year. The German will be looking to get back on form with a better performance this afternoon.
Seb was particularly critical of how the car handled after the race, and there were some heated conversations in the garage. The team will be desperate to sort out the issues they're having and find a better balance in the car.
I thought it was pretty interesting that David Croft said I was running a setup that was only set up for one lap pace, which was pretty interesting. I am running with 1-1 wings, of course, so obviously if we're going to have any troubles, it's going to be at the start of the race with heavy fuel, as he said. But here we go, ready for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. We've got Rosberg starting behind us and Lewis Hamilton, our championship rival, right behind us. Away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. A bit of wheel spin off the start. Rosberg is already taking the lead. That was a given. Hamilton into second place as well. So both the Mercedes are very good off the line, trying to go up the inside. Very opportunistic into turn one. It's cost me positions to both the Ferraris. And now my teammate Massa has just barged into the side of me there. I need to see a replay of what happened there. I'm not too sure if he was squeezed or what the deal is there. But Massa not being too friendly today, it seems. But at the end of lap one, we've caught up to our teammate once again. We'll try and get around him if we can, going through Parabolica. This is going to be a really good comparison here to see what the straight line speed is like versus the AI, especially our teammate running with 1-1 wings. I'd have to say that Massa is definitely not running with a default setup. Maybe he's being a bit sneaky and stole my setup because he is really quick in a straight line, I've got to say. But here's a replay of the start. Here we can see Massa. He started way down the order and he got in front of me after the first chicane, so that just shows how much of a good start he got. But going through turn one, you can just see how little room there was for Massa to get through. He made contact with not only myself, but Felipe Nasr as well. He throws up his hand in frustration. Then we cut to the Sauber, and he throws up his hand in frustration as well. So, I don't know, essentially they're as bad as each other. But we all managed to get through there without crashing, so that was some kind of minor miracle. On board with Hamilton, you can see how much of a good start he got off to. He had to avoid me off the line, so that sort of hindered his straight line speed a little bit. That probably prevented him from getting into the lead in turn one. We can see the two Ferraris squabbling over the final spot on the podium, and that was essentially the start. Rosberg from Hamilton, then Raikkonen, then Vettel, and then it's pretty much us there in 5th place battling with our teammate Felipe Massa. Once again, he's on the attack on the DRS straight. He goes up the inside. We're going to try and hold. No, we've locked up the inside front. And there goes Massa for P5. So as you can tell, not the best of starts so far. Just the initial launch we got off to, and then I made some bad decisions, but now we're coming back through the field once again, passing our teammate Felipe Massa, and now finally we started to get some momentum. I'm not going to lie though, it helped that the leaders started squabbling here. For the lead of the race, Rosberg moving to the inside to try and get up the inside of Vettel into the Ascari chicane. So lap 8 now, we've essentially caught up to the leaders, and Vettel all of a sudden makes a very early pit stop. I've got to say, it was 7, 8, maybe even 9 laps too early. We're scheduled to come in on like lap 17 or something like that, so very, very surprised to see Vettel in so early. But now we got in front of Rosberg there, and now we're trying to chase down Lewis Hamilton for second place. Kimi Raikkonen leads this race, in fact, so I don't know where his pace has come from all of a sudden, but it's very interesting to see the comparison between the Ferraris and Mercedes at the moment. I don't know, it might be a strategy call from Ferrari to bring in the two Mercedes boys earlier than what they need to, and maybe leave out Raikkonen to have fresher tyres at the end of the race. I don't know, I can see what Ferrari were doing there by playing split strategies here, but I don't know if it's going to help Vettel all that much. But anyway, everyone now has come in except for myself, so I've pushed on for one more lap, putting it up in a fast, just using all the fuel that I've saved in this first stint. I'm not going to lie, through the first stint of this race, I wasn't pushing too much. Like, once I got in the train of the cars in front of me, I just started saving fuel for later on the race when I needed it, and I guess that time is now. So coming in for our one and only stop of the race on lap 14, I've got to say, I think Vettel actually forced the hand of everyone in the field to come in a little bit earlier than what they were scheduled to. So kudos to Vettel. He's probably made this race a little bit easier for myself because it gave me clean air. Rejoining on the track though, it looks like we might actually get the lead here. We're still in first, going into turn 1. Vettel has rejoined in second, so this is a very interesting order at the moment because Vettel, he came in so early. I just wonder if he needs to make another pit stop to the end of the race because, I don't know, he's on option tyres, so he definitely has to do another stop. So, I don't know. Wow, I don't get that. I honestly don't get that. Why would you put on another set of options when Monza is clearly a one-stop race? I don't know. But Ferrari, they seem to know what they're doing. Vettel is leading at the moment, but I'm going to let him lead the way. I'm going to save even more fuel while I'm stuck behind him. Watch as we come into the final corner now. I just ease off the throttle as we come into the braking zone, just trying to save even more fuel than what I normally would, because I know the Mercedes cars are quick. We saw what happened at the end of Spa. I just don't want to have another situation where that happens, where we just get absolutely destroyed because we've got nothing left at the end of the race. So essentially that's what I was doing. Vettel eventually came in, and now I'm just absolutely trying to push as much as I can, just using up all that fuel that I saved earlier on in the race. And it looks like it's worked for the most part because Raikkonen and then Hamilton started battling for the rest of the race. And I was able to break the 1 second DRS window. And once that happened, the race was just so damn easy for me to pull away. So here we go, final lap, final corner. We're going to win the Italian Grand Prix by an absolute mile here. It's our 5th win of this 2015 season for Valtteri Bottas.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win.
Well done to Valtteri Bottas, who's won today's race. Congratulations to him and the Williams team for a fantastic performance.
So there we go, lads. We've won the Italian Grand Prix over Kimi Raikkonen. 9 seconds was the difference between us and him. Very interesting result, I gotta say. It looks like Mercedes at the power tracks, they're definitely not performing because Raikkonen won the previous race as well. So, I don't know. It looks like Mercedes definitely aren't the quickest in a straight line, which is very, very interesting. That's how it seems to me on this game. But either way, another convincing win. I really wasn't expecting that coming into this race after what we saw in Spa, but I'll take it. 25 points in the bank, and now we're into second in the driver's standing. So Nico Rosberg, he didn't in fact finish in the points, so I don't know what the deal is with him, but Mercedes, every single race is just something that goes wrong with those guys. They definitely need to improve their consistency. I need to improve mine as well if I want to be a serious championship threat to Lewis Hamilton. But that's been this episode for today. Once again, guys, if we can hit 2k likes on this video, the next one will be out tomorrow. I've got to say, we're running out of races in this season now. We've got to start thinking about what we're doing for Season 2 already, and it's only been, what, 7, 8, maybe 9 or 10 days since the F1 game came out, so just absolutely crazy how we're smashing through this season. But that's been this episode for today. Until the next race, which will be in Singapore, night race, street track, should be a little bit of carnage too. Until then, guys, I'll see you next time.